Hello again, everyone. This is Erik Sprowls, and I was the series creator and director of the television series Frightening Fridays. And with me today is...
This is Ben Willis, actor for Cedric, butler on the show.
Actually, you're an unemployed butler now.
Unemployed butler, yes. Unfortunately, no. See, I still can't do that accent.
You're going to practice it in the next half hour or so.
I still have trouble getting back into the proper British accent. It's not even proper British. It's proper.
I'm telling
it's proper
you, it's New
American.
England.
Yes, proper American accent.
Well, I tell you what, and let's let them know what we're doing. This is the next chapter in our series of ongoing commentaries and how we brought the television series Frightening Fridays to life at Bloomsburg University, and in our, I guess it would be a 6-volume set comprising 11 episodes and a behind-the-scenes special with commentaries galore. So come on along with us.
The video airwaves known as television, considered too risky as this ghoulish method.
This is actually this is my tribute, my anti-tribute to all those shows that come out now, like Lost and Grey's Anatomy, that just come on for like 5 seconds with their opening. Mine goes like 15 minutes.
All around agreed that this is quite too long for an intro.
Well, you know what? Suppose like you never watched the show. You don't know. You want to know who's this guy about? Why is he trying to take over the world? Nah, I'm actually just full of shit. I mean, who really cares? This is the mindless fluff. Mindless fluff, I tell you.
Is coming. To this day, BUTV still has not managed to successfully eliminate this evil fiend, and the
This is making me hot. All this fire and flame. Yeah, good thing I got my Aquafina here.
Under the command of...
Ah, refreshing. Like a Sierra Mist? That's like...
Bet you can't drink just one.
That's like that's our inside gag for an episode coming up where we have product placement. So here we are in the inside Creepy's castle.
Oh, I forgot to say what episode this was, wasn't it? This is Sexy Saturday Nights.
Yes, this is episode 8. This is Sexy Saturday Nights, where Creepy discovers he has a rival show on the air in the form of doing exactly what he does, but instead of hosting monster movies, his competition is hot and, well, hosts porn.
And somehow uses the exact same set. And through the magic of, well, television... We somehow see the live Saturday evening show during our Friday evening show.
That's because he's got powers and shit, you know? You know, he can, like, do stuff. You know, he's like he's like Batman. He's got powers and stuff. He can, like, cast spells, and that's what that stick's for, his staff.
Yeah. He still had the staff, luckily, at this point.
It
laying on the ground there?
Yeah, no. Now it's laying up on the piano, the miracle of editing, huh? This was actually a remake of an episode I had done on a prior show. We did pretty much the same idea that I had written there, called Sexy Saturday Nights, but this one, I like this one better. The other one didn't end quite the way I wanted it to, and this one, basically his crew has abandoned him. Now, this was kind of an on-site gag, because they're all watching Sexy Saturday Nights. But in the original episode that I had done, it's because Selena had cast a spell over all the men. She was a siren and was causing everybody... Yeah, well, that's the way we were going to do it here.
It's still funny.
Yeah, it's still, sure, it's all schlock, but it kind of like made sense that she cast a spell over the...
I have to say, this is actually one of the good movies, The Brain That Wouldn't Die. This is one of the half-decent movies that we show on this show.
And you see that where I said it says starring Meg Meehan and the voice of Erik Sprowls? Yeah. You ever watch the show Heroes?
Yes.
You ever wonder who it says and the voice of Shakar, You ever see that on the opening credits? We'll have and the blah 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 and the voice of Shakar. I saw that and it said, I always go previously, so I was like, I'll throw my voice in there too. So. But anyway, this what's supposed to have happened here is Selena had cast a spell over all the crew technicians to come to her, and he eventually discovers this, and there's a coded signal in her transmission that makes everybody watch, not just porn, but we never really unveiled that in this one.
Igor, get back here! You have to help me start.
Of course, everybody goes over to watch Sexy Saturday Nights. This was a lot of fun, I thought, because this one, unlike the first one I had done, in the first one we had a girl in a two-piece bikini. This one was more of like her being
Elvira in a red dress.
Yeah, exactly. She's in the red satin outfit.
I love how Damien's sitting there and it's like he's never seen this before. He's just freaking out like some prepubescent boy.
And I know, and the funny thing is Leah's watching too.
Chewing on a bone. Subtle innuendo there.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I never thought about that before.
Sucking on his bone. Siri's got his legs tight together.
He's covering up. He doesn't want anybody to see.
You know what's going on downstairs.
Now that was a lot of fun though, because we talked about this before, that there's a lot of sexual innuendo in this show.
This episode specifically, there are a few other times.
Of course, Laura Micas, she is a gem to work with because she's sultry and she's funny, and you could tell she was a little uncomfortable at one point with maybe doing, being the center of attention, especially with sex and that kind of thing, because she also was the news anchor at the time at the university, so it was difficult for her to play a role, but she kind of calmed down and had fun with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, true, it was a departure for her, but again, sometimes you have to do those things. I mean, if you keep yourself just to one, wow, that's a big explosion.
Well, it's supposed to be steamy and hot, porn.
I see. Porn has explosions then.
Yeah, it's like fire. It's like that old joke in the movie It's All About Me, where the guy Jim Belushi says, "Hey, I was having sex with this girl last night with a flak jacket, and she pulls gasoline out from underneath the bed." I said, "I'm out of here." So she does. She looks pretty sultry for everything,
There's that television again. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Circa 1954, whatever. Raytheon.
Now Laura is not an eyesore, and I thought she was a perfect host for this. She had never been involved with the Frightening Friday show before as a technician or as anything. This was her first time on camera, I think, doing anything other than just news at the university. And unlike some of her predecessors, like the guy that played Damien, Heather, who played the Gwenbot, where they started as crew and technicians and transformed, or whatever the word I'm looking for, into becoming an actress or an actor. I went to her for this role and asked her to play it.
I think she was actually one of the people we considered in the writing room at the time. We said, who are we going to get to play this character? And someone mentioned her, and we said, yes.
Yeah, you nailed that one. Yeah, she literally. We said, yeah. When we were writing this script, we said, who could we have play this? And I don't think any other name came up other than hers. And she's so good at it too.
We couldn't have Leah play it because Leah's already played a character.
And she didn't have any problem with these butt jokes either. And the funny thing about Laura is sometimes she's a lot like Leah. She I don't think sometimes she's acting. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want her to misconstrue that and think I'm calling her an airhead. I'm saying sometimes she has that hair, that Paris Hilton kind of flary, kind of clueless air to her.
But
she's not, obviously.
Sometimes she comes off like that,
Yeah, I mean, there's another girl who's at the end of this episode who plays the church lady. Her name was Meg Meehan, and she was another host of the news as well, but I don't think she could have pulled off this role.
She played the church lady very well.
Oh, absolutely. That was good. He's like, I can be sexy. Oops. Joel or Igor's like, barf.
And now, of course, Jeremy's just sitting in horror.
Now, I like to hear in the background, you hear her say, "Oh, oops, I've accidentally dumped an entire bottle of cooking oil on myself. I'll have one of my minions lick it off."
Here's my line.
Those, Damien, are what they call boobies.
What are those?
That was a nice ad-lib by Joel, too, because he goes, boing.
What's that even from?
Classic Beavis and Butthead.
I was just going to say, just remember that. I can't even do that.
Yeah, it's hard. I can't. Look at Joel. He's so into this. He's a good method actor.
Oops, I mean, bed girl. Put some clothes back on.
That's what I thought.
I think one of the keys to this show is we got blessed with the right people at the right time. I mean, I can't see you playing Damien, and I can't see Joel playing Cedric, and we had the right... I think casting was key to this show, and I think we cast everybody. Joel is perfect as Igor. You're perfect as the pompous butler. Mike was perfect as Creepy. He has some good stage appeal, and Leah and Damien right down the line.
Yep, I agree. I mean, I think if you went back, you probably couldn't find...
This was kind of new.
Oh, James.
With Jenna Jameson flying the space shuttle because she's...
How old is that picture? It's got to be like 20 years old.
Of Jenna Jameson? Yeah, have you seen her recently? It's like... She looks like Grandma Jameson. Oh, she looks really, really bad. Because I tell you what I know. It's not because I sit around and watch porn. When I was remastering these DVDs, I thought I'd throw a picture in there because Laura or Selena talks about Jenna Jameson. So I went and I found one on the internet and I said, "Oh, what's this one?" And there's some of Jenna Jameson current out there. She's been around the block quite a bit now.
I have to get rid of this Selena chick.
This was a good episode, too, because he starts thinking about, who can I get to be sexy? And he thinks of Damien and Igor as his first choices. Ironically, Gigi is not even in the choice yet.
How that worked last time.
A little bit of a monkey there.
You can see the flicker. That was actually what was on screen on that television. You see that flicker in the corner there.
Oh, yeah.
That was the actual screen. That's all we could get was this beautiful blue glow out of it. Doesn't really show up with all the lighting we had, but I'm sure if we shut the lights off, you could see it. Here it comes.
That's perfect.
And people wondered, and he wondered why people thought he came off as gay.
Ironically, I think Jody Reichert, who was the technical director at the time, told me that was her dress.
Jeez.
And I can't see Jody Reichert in that dress. Much less Damien.
Here we go. Oh, God, my eyes!
Oh, yeah!
Oh, no!
Yeah!
Oh.
And this is what Pizza Hut can do for you, ladies.
Oh, God, no. Please, make it stop.
Now we know why it's called Frightening Fridays.
Oh, God.
That was beautiful. Even the skeleton in the background agrees.
Rubbing his non-existent eyes out of his sockets.
I like this when he daydreamed about himself being the King of England. I thought that was cute.
I love his fleshy legs.
That was the best. It's because it's so schlocky, It's like, oh, look, there's his legs. Because we didn't care. It was fun. I think that's half the reason that people like the show.
What are you talking about? Why are you in my dream?
Well, kind of half the time during the show, you think, not even in the show, he's not really considered to be a skeleton. He calls himself a skeleton. He probably thinks of himself as a skeleton. But you got to think that everyone around him really doesn't believe he's a skeleton either. You kind of have that air to it. It's like, it's just a little bit crazy.
I remember, too, Joel had a real problem delivering that line. He said, "You've been sitting there for like 2 minutes and haven't said anything." And he could not deliver the line right. He kept changing we would tell him what to say, and he couldn't deliver it right. And that's why you couldn't tell over that. And I really liked that, how Jeremy here, who played Damien, had the suggestion, can I turn to the camera and kind of have like a moonlighting moment where he says, "Well, I made some movies in college." And I like how Creepy says, "Not you, the other one," instead of saying Gigi. Like, they're all unimportant enough for him to even know the names. Like, the other one. I like how he didn't call her Gigi. I thought that was just perfect. That made me laugh.
Take a spit take all over the computer here.
I remember when I was editing it together, and I heard him call him the other one. I thought that was hysterical.
That intro.
Somebody at the university when we were doing this said we ought to do a Sexy Saturday Nights. I'm like, yeah. I said, well, you have the open. And I'm like, yeah, that'll happen. I remember there was an episode. It was like the second or third episode we did, and Creepy said something about www.sucky.com. Yeah, that was a real porn site, and they made us take that off of there.
Check out that steam. It makes me want to take all of my clothes off. You know what I mean? So, while I do
You
that,
are incredible.
I'll finish watching the rest of Armageddon.
I added the Selena sexy meter there. I thought that was a nice touch. Because the thing is, at this point, being creepy, you haven't really seen Selena behind the scenes. You just know that she's a pain in your ass, and you have to fix her show somehow.
We'll see that side of her later.
Selena's show.
Oh, God.
Now, what was the name of her show again?
Thirsty Thursday?
These are real sound effects, by the way, from the show Family Feud.
Visual effects, too. It's the same X, right?
No, I made that in my own. I couldn't find the. I kind of remember what it looked like.
Tango Tuesday.
And the alarm you hear, the going whoop whoop whoop, was the actual sound effect from The Price is Right, when they would win both showcases.
Hey, knock that off. Look what you got me doing here, making a fool out of me on national television, worldwide.
Do you have the music cues for that show, too?
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. Yeah, they have it on there.
It's a shame we didn't do a game show episode, really. That would have probably would have been one of our next standalones.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Would have been a game show.
And it's nice to do standalones like this. I remember, too, we were right in the middle of a plot line when this happened. But I didn't have any problem with doing...
Transform, Sailor Moon, you know?
Yeah. I didn't have any problem with doing a standalone. You know, Scully's been kidnapped and her life's hanging in the balance and everything, but no one cares. It'll still be hanging in the balance later. It's like the cast of Lost. You know, their lives are all hanging in the balance, but they have standalones. This was something I got to mention this too. Gigi, the girl who plays Gigi, Leah Wagenblatt, auditioned for me way back in the beginning, and she said I can play two roles, sexy and bimbo. And I said, show me them both. And she did the Gigi character, and she did the sexy character. And we weren't sure at the time what we were gonna do with the show. And I said, let's go with the Gigi route. And we kept her as the bimbo. So then, when this episode came along, and she had to infiltrate Sexy Saturday Nights, this was all her clothing design. She says, let me play the sexy role now. And she did a pretty good job.
There's so many openings for bone jokes in this episode that we didn't want to overdo it. And I think that was what our decision in the writing room was, that we said we can't overdo it. I mean, otherwise it'll just get too corny and we'll get too saturated with bone jokes.
I agree. And something else too, I told Mike DeShane, I said, I want to lose the character of you looking at Gigi and like the oversexed employer. I said, because creepy should be above that. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, well, it's like when she came on to him in that scene and says, I told you I can be sexy. And he said, well, that's good, because I need somebody that way. You know, I didn't want him to play up along with that at all. You know, so
That's not creepy. Oh, it's close enough.
I get carried away with that. I love those kind of things. I saw it, and I keep saying the show Blind Date, because that's the first show I saw when they have the little side things come in.
It works, especially with this.
That's my voice as the director saying, okay, 5 minutes.
Oh my god, I'm so sick of this script.
And so many extras in this episode.
Now, ironically, the girl on the left there making up her hair is Meg Meehan. She comes in later as the church-thumping, Bible-thumping woman who wants to shut down Sexy Saturday Nights. But there's your buddy from...
There's Dave.
He's carrying a laundry basket, too. Like, I guess he's doing his laundry.
All the people on the Sexy Saturday Night set, one, couldn't be people we'd seen on the Fright Night, the Frightening Friday set. So we had to either, go to people outside, or we had to rope together all those other people on the crew that hadn't been on the screen yet. And of course, then
he is carrying his laundry around, lost.
He was sitting there walking in a circle, just making movement.
Recognize Joe DeMola, the guy she bumped into. He was the guy that came with the singing telegram in the last episode.
Joe is the exception. He can be anywhere he wants to be. He just is.
Yeah.
He's the minion. He's just your generic minion character.
He ends up actually being the stooge later on, who's the Evil Reaper's concubine.
He's a red shirt.
He's a red shirt from Star Trek, yeah.
Oh, God, what did I just say? I can't believe I made that comment.
And of course, Selena here is like, you know, you have great fashion sense and a great ass. Will you help me take over the world?
Sure.
Sure, it's what we do.
Seems like my plan is going exactly as I...
And of course, they're on a 5-minute break on that show, but Creepy is somehow able to watch the show.
Even though they're off the air.
I'm telling you, he's got magic and shit. He can see that stuff, you know?
Into the future.
I mean,
24 hours into the future.
Yeah, plus...
Which somehow, you know... Wait, unless is it Saturday a.m.?
Well, yeah, it's funny because his is Frightening Fridays, hers is Sexy Saturdays, so what the hell night is this on?
Yeah.
And I love this line here that we kept playing where Joel's like, boss, you can't keep making up movies. The Brain That Wouldn't Die isn't a real movie, you know. Because we were all, the whole time we were doing this, we're paying homage to all these old cheesy monster movies you never see because Turner bought them all, and you never even see them in reruns anymore like you did 20 years ago. So when you get the opportunity to see those, you like to make, yeah, you like to poke a little fun at it.
Yeah. Porn rules.
I saw the funniest thing on AMC the other night. It said they aired the movie The Matrix. I'm like, AMC stands for American Movie Classics. I would hardly think it's a classic yet.
See, that just tells you that's why I don't watch cable anymore. I don't even get cable.
Well, I'm going to show you how we've run things around here. But first, I need
So now they're co-hosting, taking over the world. And I said when we were writing this in the script session, let's make it so obvious. So she's like, now, I want you to hold this axe that you could kill me with while I turn around and look at this wall for a minute. That was just beautiful, you know?
very sharp. It hurt someone. Picture if I go like that.
And he's like, oh, here it is. Get her, get her.
Well, it's because Case had murderous blue balls here.
Well, that's another thing, too. I kind of made fun of Mike as Creepy, because his accent came through here. He kept saying, get her, get her, get her now, you know, instead of get her.
I had that sign.
Well, that's
Oh, did you keep it?
where I throw all
A little piece of trivia. The reverse side of that sign is Creepy's painting from the format change episode. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
very, very dangerous.
And I like how we came up with this series of like Wile E. Coyote-esque, here, stand here next to the bottomless pit while I tie my shoe.
Yeah, it would be a strange
All these opportunities that Gigi could have knocked her off, but Gigi's supposed to be such a bimbo and so dense, she forgot what she's there for.
Yeah, perfect time.
I love. Look at that. That's like one of the few times the fog actually was right in that shot. It's just hanging there at file level. It's right where you want it. We could almost never get that though, because everyone was moving through set. The only time we could get it was when he was just sitting there.
Well, you know what? I think that's an idea, a concept that we eventually got the hang of toward the end of the series run. Just when we were starting to get hot and understand things, and we had a system in place, you know, things had to stop. So,
And then all these stupid antique lights would superheat everything. So all that you can see the smoke just rising. Here he's the base of the camera here. Or it didn't. You cut it out. Just at the very end. Or maybe that was one of the outtakes. He fell and he landed right on the trolley of the camera.
oh yeah, it was a blooper. I like too that Gigi looks at Selena and says, "What are they showing on Frightening Fridays?" And Gigi's like, "The Brain That Wouldn't Die," and they kind of giggle and cackle like, "Who the hell's watching that while we got porn?"
Some
Oh my god,
infiltrator.
Gigi, it just occurred to me that you haven't even eaten all day. Yeah. So here's
Allergic to peanuts and M&Ms.
But I'm allergic to one, so here, don't mix them up, okay?
Or else I will die. Oh no. Whatever shall we do?
Yeah, don't make. I like how he's sitting there all like, oh God, how long is this going to go on? Now your fog's hanging fairly well there.
Yeah. Again, he wasn't moving, and we had like a minimum of lights on. So it wasn't heating, it wasn't rising. Get a shot of his boots there.
Well, I'm sure you folks at home are enjoying the brain that wouldn't die. What?
I remember when we were shooting this too, especially with the Selena's Sexy Saturday Nights, her open when she's throwing her leg up in the air and acting all sexy.
You kicked all the guys out of the studio when you...
Yeah, and myself included. I remember leaving too because I thought, you know, when you're a teacher and you're trying to do this stuff, but you're trying to come through with a quality product, it's difficult because of the sensitive material we were tackling. And I even left. I said, ladies, I left nothing but women in the room, and I said, Laura, do some sexy stuff. And everybody left, and the ladies did all this. They shot all of this. They're the ones that came up with the idea with the split leg and the leg in the air and the boobs shot, and so it worked out pretty well. Now this was in the original script, and this was just over the top, I thought, but it was funny.
There was also fireman's pole in the original script, but we had to drop that.
Yeah, stripper pole, yeah.
And here is everyone. There's Mike even in the shot.
Yeah, and they're all coming in because porn's... Now, if you notice, the girl, the church stumper that she's talking to, Meg Meehan, was her person who was working. You know, when I look around there at the actual cast, there's a lot of the cast members from
other shows.
Yeah, the guy on the right, if you look on the far right, the guy with the cutlass shirt, the sleeveless shirt is actually Mike DeShane, who plays the creepy Reaper.
There is no porn that is good porn. Think of the children.
It's so funny looking at Mike do this now.
Battle between the two of them.
We must purge her.
Purge her.
Crazy. I gotta get out of here. You guys go back to water.
And it looks like chaos, doesn't it? Yeah, this is definitely the fall of the network, I think.
Jerry Falwell. Go eat your own hand.
Yeah, exactly. So much for Sexy Saturday Nights. I like this last little noise here. Listen. That last little punch, like, gets real quiet and you hear somebody, one last punch, you know? So that's when everybody came in and Creepy said... And I like the way this ended, too, because it's just dumb luck that Creepy keeps on going. He's like the Energizer Bunny, you know?
Wow, it was so crazy over there.
Signs could have said, evil is evil.
Now, in the original episode, we parodied, or we did the remake. Spooky, at the time, who was the host on the other show, creates a spell that breaks the spell of her and everything. And I didn't really care for that, because I liked her coming back as a villain. We got enough characters on the show.
Had to get rid of her immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
Get rid of her permanently.
No, in fact, she even comes back in a little cliffhanger and says, I'll return, Creepy Reaper, one day, you know. I think this was an ad-lib on... Mike's part that they didn't tell me about. I thought that was cute.
What exactly happened over there?
Well, there's this mysterious phone call, and
This was a great ending with these two making phone calls.
Oh, God.
And it didn't even make sense, you know? They're like...
Jeremy just pulled these out of his ass.
I think it's funnier just to watch these two together than it is...
We can't really hear it right now, but watch this and just their physical acting.
But see, I remember their comments are like, I hear you're casting your tree. It's not even funny stuff.
I clean something. I miss it.
She's like, I gotta go back to clean it.
Dusting him, yeah.
Yeah.
What else is there to do?
Now, you had, ironically, the best line in this whole episode, I thought. Like, this whole thing's going to hell. You don't remember how this ends here?
I haven't seen this.
Oh.
Since it aired, so
You come on here, and she's all destroyed, and her lair is destroyed and self-destructing, and she's having her bad hair day, which, when we shot this, we had to actually convince Laura to do, because she is a beautiful woman. She's beautiful all the time, and she hated to have her hair all messed up.
Yeah.
But this is a great line you had here. Listen.
Autograph.
Can I have your autograph? I know you're kicked in the crotch and down, but...
This is the lowest day in my life.
I'm not really sure if that's a compliment to you or she's having a bad day. There goes the fog guy, just squirted on you.
God knows where we're shooting it at this point still. Looks so anemic, trickling out of the corner there. See, that's the thing. We're not even watching, Mike playing his part. We're watching the fog down in the corner. Oh, and here we get back.
Oh, yeah, then we get back into our mythology. It's nice to have the standalones, but, like, you can still have this kind of stuff to carry you through. We did that with the format change episode. Oh, I hear that. It's interesting when we did that with the format change episode, too. It was a standalone episode, but we had, the very end was Gwendolyn getting hired by the Axe Files.
Which, of course, if you didn't see the episode, if it was dropped, you could still get it from the next episode. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Why have you brought me here?
You don't understand, Miss.
I thought this was a nice ending, too. I thought that when he kind of leans in and...
The Reaper.
That's my voice, actually, but I love her one eye. You can see her eye. I thought that was very Texas Chainsaw Massacre-ish, where you do the classic freeze frame with the zoom on the film or the tape. It was pretty nice how we did that. And it's funny, too, that outfit, this is the new villain we're introducing for the rest of the series, the Evil Reaper, was actually a character I played on another show called Cannibal Spectre. Yeah, I was a villain in that outfit, but we'll go into more detail about that as the series progresses. Anything you want to add to this one, Sexy Saturdays?
Not that I can think of.
The only thing I can think of about Sexy Saturday Nights is I'll be in stall number 3. And for us...
Oh, God.
But anyway, we'll see you on the next disc when our commentary continues then. On behalf of Ben Willis, who plays Cedric, I'm Erik Sprowls. Bad luck and worst wishes. See you in episode 9.
Bye-bye.